Hey guys, back again with another review, this time 2008's remake, I'm guessing, of Day of the Dead, because it says on the front, based on the motion picture Day of the Dead by George A. Romero. And before I get into that, I just want to say this. Do you remember the heyday of when you'd watch a film on TV or you'd buy the film and you'd absolutely love the film, and then you'd find out a video game of the film was going to come out? And you're like, wow, I can't wait to play it. I want to be all my favourite characters. And then it would be absolutely terrible because it was just a cash-in game. Well, Day of the Dead 2008 is one of those kind of films. That's right. It's one of those films which looks like it's on a really low budget. It's awful in the CGI, terrible acting, bad script, nothing like the original, which I will get to later. So let's get on with the review, guys. So basically, this film came out in 2008 and it stars Mina Savario, was in Loser, American Pie. She played Heather in American Pie. Nick Cannon, Michael Welch, Annalyn McCall, who was in Nip Tuck as Julia's girlfriend's daughter, the psycho one. She was also in 90210, was one of the main ones in the kind of, remake of the original series. Stark Sands, Matt Rippey, Pat Kilburn, Taylor Hoover, Krista Campbell, and Ian McNeice. Now, I forgot I even had this, and I picked it up, and I was like, you know what? I haven't seen this film yet. And I really, really love the original film. And I'm a big fan of that. And to me, that's probably my favourite zombie movie of all time. So I was hoping it'd be around the same thing. But it's nothing like the original one. So here we go. The film starts out 4 teenagers basically doing what they do. Getting off of each other and flirting and getting upset. And then it shows you Mina Savario as Sarah Bowden or Sarah Bowden. And basically she walks up to none other than Bing Rhymes. That's right. Bing Rhymes. And Bing Rhymes. And it really annoyed me because he's only in it for about 15 minutes altogether. And the thing is, a lot of people, because I read up on this long before I watched it, a lot of people thought he was the same character from the Dawn of the Dead remake, but he wasn't. And so basically he says blah, 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 blah to her, and she meets not Bug. She meets Bud, but his name might as well have been Bug. So they drive to her mother's, where they take her mother to the hospital because she's got the flu. Or so they think, because they've blocked off the town because of a flu breakout and they don't want to get across, to other areas. So you're sitting there and you're watching it and you're like, okay, so we're not in the bunker. One of the things that made Day of the Dead from the 1980s a magical film was the claustrophobic feeling. That's right, it was a claustrophobic film where they were in the bunker and they flew out once. I think in the movie they flew out once in the movie, and then voila, right? So not in this movie. So then basically you see Annalyn McCall, Nina, with her dad and mum, and her dad goes and turns into this zombie. He then jumps over and bites her mum. Now the zombies in this, they look terrible. They can crawl on walls. They can jump 20 feet in the air. They can jump through windows. They can put people in cupboards to hide their dead bodies. They can lay between 2 dead bodies to pretend they're dead so they can trick people so they can get them. They run right at you, and when they run, it reminds me of Nightmare City, which is an Umberto Lenzi film. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's from Raro Video on Blu-ray in America. Check Amazon. But anyway, so I'm sitting there and I'm like this. I'm like, I really, really, really don't like the zombies in this movie. So after that, basically, Trevor and Nina, they end up running about, and Sarah Salazar, Dr. Logan, who's Dr. Logan? No, sorry, and Bud, they end up locked in this room in the hospital, while Trevor and Nina end up running to the radio station, where they meet Paul, the DJ, and the parents of a little boy who at the beginning was in their car and was ill. Well, I'm guessing he turned into a zombie because the mother turns into a zombie too. She gets nosebleeds. So Trevor and Nina, they're up there, and we're basically seeing Sarah Salazar and Bud and the doctor, scientist person, and they're there, and Ving Rhames basically gets killed in the hallway. But they crawl through the shaft to get in the room, and Ving Rhames follows them. And the best part is Salazar, played by Nick Cannon, goes, "Will you shut up?" and just shoots him in the head. Like, shoots him. It's just great, that bit. To be honest, I didn't like Nick Cannon in the role, but he made it a little bit more bearable, if you know what I mean. He had some really cheesy, terrible lines, like for the power of Grayskull and all that, when he picked up a sword, and you're like, eh. So they're trapped in there. All of a sudden, he makes a spear. Salazar makes a spear, and they jump out of a window. Right? They run through a car park full of zombies. The top running, killing people. A nurse runs up to the doctor and goes, "Help me, help me." And he goes, "Okay, I will," and pushes her to the zombie, and he drives off. They get in the car, and basically, Bud had been bitten by Ving Rhames' character, but they poured bleach on it. So she handcuffs him in the back. They basically meet up with Trevor and Nina. Trevor and Nina go back up to tell the others. Paul, the DJ, turned into one and got a tiny knife in his head, which would have been impossible from a girl like that. And basically, the father's dead of the little boy, and the mother's one as well now. So, a zombie. So he's sitting there, and she gets killed, and then he sees his mother. He sees his mother, goes, "His mum!" And basically, the mum had heard on the radio where he was and directions, so she'd gone there because the zombies in this movie, they think. We're still nowhere near the original one yet. We still haven't reached anything from the original one. Bud is supposed to be Bob. It's like a thing, but to me it doesn't count because it's not the same kind of movie. So, well, it is, but I mean, it's not, the same thing. So, where we are, they basically, Sarah runs over her mum, they get in, Bud's in the back as a zombie. They drive along, and Salazar says to Sarah, "Why isn't he biting us?" And she goes, "He's vegetarian." And that's when you think, I see. I love Bob in the original one, but I hate this character being a vegetarian. So they're driving along, and basically Salazar's making fun of him and all this crap, and she's running over Pill, and they stop at a checkpoint where the most silliest thing happens. The zombies can shoot guns, they can drive cars, and they have to drive off. They then drive through the woods and crash, and they come across a bunker. That's right, a bunker. But the bunker doesn't look like something from the original Day of the Dead. It looks like something from Resident Evil 1. So I'm sitting there going, oh no. Then they find the doctor, and they find out that the scientist, the alpha scientist, he created it all because he was ill when he went, and he left. A little while later, they see him, they're shooting at him, and he goes like this. And you think, wow, a neo-zombie from the Matrix. Now we know what happened to Keanu Reeves' career. He turned into a zombie and did sideshows in a bunker. It was absolutely terrible, that bit. never to be seen again. And all this other stuff happened, and basically the end. Now, basically, the movie consists of Pill running from one place to another, trying to escape, and just people running, and zombies just running at people and killing them, basically. The movie's got nothing like the original one. It's a real, actually, I have to be honest, it's quite a disappointment. This film feels like a straight to TV kind of movie. It feels like a TV movie. The effects are not great. The CGI is a little bit, and the characters felt like they could have been developed more. Felt like the script could have been better. Mina Savara looks bored. Nick Cannon looks like he's having fun because he feels like he's stealing the show. And just the rest of them just seem plain Jane to me. They seem like I can't sit here and go, wow, my favourite character was this character, because I'd be lying. The film has plenty of action in it. That's the one good thing about it. It has plenty of action. It keeps going non-stop. But you just sit there thinking, why did they call this Day of the Dead? If they'd have called it a different movie, if I would have got more, I probably would have enjoyed it more, because I would have been comparing it. I won't be sitting there going, why are they remaking this movie with a completely different movie? This movie should have been called something like, I don't know, Teen Lovers of the Dead or something. I don't know. Because Bud, where's the zombie, all he does is stares at Sarah through the whole movie. Like he's in love. Because he's in love with her. He only met her that day. So that was a bit sad. But I couldn't recommend. If I had to recommend this or the original movie, I would have to recommend the original, obviously. Because even though it can be fun and action-packed, it's just the fact that you look at it and you think to yourself, how could they remake a classic movie into something so bad which is nothing like it? So I just can't I recommend giving it a watch, but if you do, take the Day of the Dead off and call it something else. Let's hear some names. Glass of the Dead. Wallet of the Dead. Watch of the Dead. Or call it Camera of the Dead. Whatever. Just, if you watch it, don't go in it expecting a good Day of the Dead remake kind of thing, even though remakes are normally bad. Don't go in expecting that, because it's just not that kind of film. It's basically a completely different film which they put on the name to sell it, I reckon. Because there's nothing. There's some references to Day of the Dead. I'll tell you what it's like. It's like if you watch the later Hellraisers. Pinhead's not really in it, but there's things in it like the box, which then bring him in at the end of the last 5 minutes. That's basically what this is with the references. Because to me, I would not, if I'd known, I would have changed the title. I think we should call it Action of the Dead. Because it's a fairly good action movie, even though it's like, it looks cheap, it feels cheap. It just doesn't have anything going for it other than the action. So yeah, Nick Cannon's probably the best part. As much as I hate to say that, he probably is. He's one of the most frustrating parts, but he also brings the most action, the most comedic value, in my view. So yeah, this movie's one of those films I ain't really got much to talk about. It was directed by Steve Miner. Well, we should have stuck with mining, because But yeah, if you like zombie movies, then this is one to add into your collection. It's not going to be as good as the original, or Dawn of the Dead, or Dawn of the Dead the remake. It's not going to be as good as half of the zombie movies that come out. I think the biggest point is the fact that it's got Day of the Dead on the thing, and it even says, based on the motion picture Day of the Dead by George A. Romero. Yeah. Other than that, it's worth a watch. You know, I'd call it low budget zombie movie with just the title of Day of the Dead on, to be honest. It cost, I think, 18 million to make. which sounds ridiculous when you watch the film because it doesn't feel like that. It don't feel like that at all. I'm guessing a lot of the budget went on the film stars and the CGI because it just doesn't have that much going for it. Thing rhymes, if he'd have stayed in the movie and hadn't killed him off, he probably could have been one of the saving graces of the movie, possibly. But yeah, so that's 2008's Day of the Dead. I give it 2.5 stars. No, you know what? I'll be generous. I'll give it 3 because if it wasn't a Day of the Dead, it'd be all right to a degree. But the fact that it is a remake and it's bad puts it down. Plus, I felt like I said earlier, the characters need to be more developed. I felt like I had no relationship with any of them. I didn't care if they lived or died. I didn't care what was going on. The zombies were too quick. And it just kind of, it was a movie all over the place. So I'll change my mind. I'm going to give it a 2 out of 5 because it hasn't really got much going for it. It's a fun movie, but it just look at it and think to yourself, this could have been so much better. This could have been an epic 2000s horror movie. And it isn't. And that's what upsets me the most about it. So yeah, Day of the Dead 2008, 2 out of 5 stars. Let me know what you thought of the remake. Let me know if you like it. And please subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. And take care. And have a lovely day.